Wednesday morning, and you are welcome to the edition of AM Cafe. I am a Bayomi at DME, and I'll be your host for today's program. Well, today's going to be an exciting one because we'll be talking about what actually matters in society. I mean, what matters in society, which is fashion and culture. Fashion and culture. I mean, what is the correlation between fashion and culture? What is fashion? What is culture? Is it our, I mean, is it our heritage, as an African, as Africans? Is it our heritage? So these are the things that we actually look into today. Fashion and culture. The correlation between fashion and culture. How do we promote our culture through the clothes we wear, through the way we dress, through our fashion. Yeah, so that's what we'll be talking about today. And our guest is Honorable Olubi Adejobi, the essay to the governor on intergovernmental affairs. Honorable Olubi Adejobi, the SA to the governor on intergovernmental affairs. So we'll be talking about fashion and culture today. We have our friends too from the fashion world. We have Okoyemi Ashimiu. She's a fashion designer, and we also have, she's the CEO of Be Upstreet. And also we have Olasoko Mudupe, a model. They are from the fashion world also, and they will be talking to us about what fashion has to do with culture, in their own sphere, in their own field. Yeah. But first, Honorable Olubi Adejobi, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Yeah. And how are you feeling today?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you.
It's obvious. Yeah. Just like I said, we're talking about fashion and culture. But first, before we dive into culture, what would you describe fashion to be? Fashion.
Thank you. When you talk about fashion and culture, it's like talking about chicken and egg. Which came first? You can't have one without the other. One supports the other. The other promotes one. In a society, you have norms, you have the way in which people behave, and that, in essence, is reflected in the way they dress, in the way that they celebrate, in the way that they mourn. So, a child is born, you're celebrating. There's a particular way in which you dress. You're having a wedding, you're celebrating, you're promoting that event. There is a particular way, again, in which you dress. You're mourning, there's a death in the family. Again, there's a way in which you dress. And I think fashion in that sense promotes your way of life. In other words, your culture. Having said that, we live in an evolutionary environment. Nothing stays the same. Culture evolves. Therefore, fashion also has to evolve. There might be discussions on the pace at which things evolve. Some people will say, our culture is too slow, it's too conservative. Some people will say, well, things are moving at a quicker pace. So we are always going to have this discussion about the rate and the pace of change in society.
Right, you said something, you said culture evolves. I think the viewers at home would like to know how culture evolves. Fashion evolves, right? That is absolute. But talking about culture, I want to believe that culture, maybe you should just tell us about how culture evolves.
Well, it's very simple. Let's take it from the very basic. I, for example, am of a particular age. The way in which you grow up, well, I'll take my parents. People of my parents' age, God bless their soul, if they are in a particular room, they will not be in the same room as their parents. You will not sit on the table with your parents. When we grew up, we sat in the same room as our parents. In this day and age, you're in the living room with your parents. It's an evolution. The reverence that you show to your elders, it's changed, it's evolved. You're still respectful to your elders, but in a much more informal way. So again, that is an example of how things evolve. When you were at school, you had a particular reverence for your teachers. Today, it's different. You still respect your teachers, but the relationship is a little bit more fluid. So again, these are instances of how things evolve, where
our culture.
That's right, and it's a reflection of society.
All right. Yeah. Now moving on. Actually, I would like you to, in a very very simple way, I'd like to tell the viewers at home how culture and fashion correlates.
Now, you see, you shouldn't look at these things in isolation. And I'll give you an example, for instance, of what I am trying to do, which is the Osogbo Fashion and Garment Week. And this comes up on Saturday.
Osogbo Culture and Garment Week.
Fashion and Garment Week. It comes up on Saturday 30th at Aurora, Osogbo at 1 o'clock. Now, what is it about? We, over a period of 6 months, we brought together about 60 Osogbo designers, Osogbo tailors in essence. They showed us their stuff, what they've done. We got eminent leading designers in Osogbo to assess their work. And during that period of assessment, going through a few months, we distilled that to about 17 designers. Now, they've come up with fantastic garments, some of it modern, that would appeal to a younger demography. An older person might think, well, this is too avant-garde, but running through the garments are our local fabrics, adire, tie and dye, ofi. But it has a modern interpretation. So you're still carrying your culture, but you're interpreting your culture to a modern demography. So somebody who is not Nigerian, but has a taste or an affinity for the African garment, would see the design and say, oh, I like that, because it enables me to wear my shirt and trouser in the normal way, but it has imprints of the African fabric. So that again is how you carry your fashion and your culture. And I'm hoping that the event goes down well. We are going to stream on our social media platforms. Yeah. And it's, I think, Osogbo Fashion and Garment Week. So we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok and Instagram. So people who are unable to attend should follow us on on our platforms to see the event. And really the objective, is we're trying to make Osun State effectively an export Abuja, Kaduna, overseas, they see your work. With social media, with technology, you can sit in Osogbo and have clients all over the world and deliver to them all over the world. So that the vision of our governor, Asiwaju Ademola Jackson Nurudeen Adeleke, can be achieved, which is, let us empower our young people. Let us create employment in our state. Let us give voice to the aspiration of young people so that they can achieve a lot more that is commensurate with the talent and the dedication.
The potential as well. All right. Okay, I'll come over to you. I'll come back to you, Honorable. Okwemi Ashimeyu, you are a fashion designer.
Yes.
And, you know, we're actually talking about the correlation between fashion and culture. So you as a fashion designer, how would you describe fashion? What is fashion to you?
Fashion means a lot because I have my own determination about fashion. You know, I know where I'm going about fashion. That's what I love. That's what I love most. So, fashion means making your own designs, like what your imagination.
Being creative.
Yes, be creative. You have to be creative a lot. If you want to be a fashion designer, you have to be creative because. So that's.
Okay, all right. So in a simple sense, what you're trying to say is fashion is being creative, right?
Yes.
Being creative. Your imagination, putting them into reality.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right. So ever since you've been a fashion designer for a while now, right?
Yes.
All right. What do you think? Okay, the kind of designs you've been making, how has it affected our culture, or how does it correlate with our culture?
Okay. You know, life is moving on, and you have to follow it because if you look at the culture, I don't think they accept corsets or something too exposed. I don't think they accept that. But where fashion is going now, you have to go with it because there is a lot of things going on social media. There is a lot of things going on.
Okay, now let me just make it simple for you. Is there a way we can actually merge fashion and our culture together?
Okay. I think you just have to.
Okay then. All right. I'll come back to you. Okwemi Ashimeyu. Now, Olasuko Modupe, a model.
Yes.
I mean, a model. That means you're doing a great job. So, what is fashion to you as a model?
Fashion
Yeah.
is, as a model, fashion bringing creativity to life.
Creativity to life.
As a model, as a fashion model.
Mm.
Okay, culture, art, and fashion are deeply, culture, fashion, and art are deeply connected. And as a model, influencing the designs created by the fashion is what I love doing the most.
Mm.
Yes, so I would say that fashion is just creativity.
So, as a model, what you do the most is influencing the design,
the fabrics,
Okay.
showcasing
Showcasing
it to the world on the runway in particular. Yes.
All right, over to you, Honorable.
Sorry, if I can just more or less paraphrase what my colleagues have just said. Again, you look at a farmer. A farmer plants yam, and it comes up with this beautiful yam. Now, until that yam has to be taken from the farm, transported 5 miles to the market. When it gets to the supermarket dusts it up, places it on the shelf, and by placing it on the shelf, you're more or less advertising, displaying that beautiful product. So you can, by way of analogy, regard the model as the advertiser. The model, they're often described as the clothes horse. A designer comes up with a design, with a garment. It's the model that, in a way, puts life, puts spirit into that garment in the way that the garment is worn, in the way that the garment is displayed. That makes it even more attractive to a potential buyer. Now, the objective of Osogbo Fashion and Garment Week, which comes up Saturday, 30 November at Aurora at 1 o'clock, is bringing these wonderful, talented young designers' products, i.e. their garments, to the attention and notice and recognition of A, the Osogbo public, B, Osun public, C, Nigeria, and beyond. So what we're asking for, what we're requesting is those who are attending, and quite a number of people will be attending, is we want you to help us to promote these works, become content creators, come with your recording devices, share it on all your platforms, so that Nigeria takes notice and Nigeria becomes aware that, wow, there is something happening in Osun. What is happening in Osun? Let's go to Osun. Osun is the center, the creative center for traditional garments infused into modern wares. Let us create that mega awareness so that people outside Osun State take notice in such a way that these designers now become household names. Their products are promoted, they get orders from Nigeria elsewhere, so that younger people see them as forerunners and they can tap into that creative space. So that is our objective. So in summary, and please forgive me for taking too much of your time, we are asking our guests on Saturday, 30 November, to come with their cameras or their recording devices and set social media alight. We really want them to propagate this event. And again, although it's a social event, it's an empowerment event.
Okay.
And it is in keeping with the vision of our government, which is putting our young people who have talent, who have the commitment, who have the energy, putting them to work and helping them to promote not only themselves, but also our state.
All right, when we talk, everything has both merits and demerits.
Yeah.
Now we're actually talking about how to promote our culture with what we wear. It's obvious, looking at what you're wearing and what you're actually wearing right now. You've succeeded in infusing the OFI into
That's
things
right.
that can exactly. So that is one of the merits.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the demerit of this fashion and culture, Honorable, would you say that most of the things that people wear now, would you say it actually promotes our culture? Because you can actually go out there, you see people putting on some skimpy things and all, things that will actually open their cleavage and all. Are these things still promoting the culture?
Well, look, first of all, what I'm wearing is designed by one of the designers that would feature at the event. His business name is Malo Dollar. So I think you can go on social media and you will see that. Now, again, we can't all wear agbada. We can't all wear buba and shokoto. Now, not all the time. Now, the important thing from my standpoint is promoting the work of, for example, Malo Dollar to somebody who wants to look a little modern, a little different, but again, infusing our local garment into a modern look. There's no problem with that. Now, in terms of some people dressing and showing a little bit of flesh, etc., again, one has to look at the context. There is a saying that, it's a saying in law, that you take your audience as you find them. So, to put it in context, if you have a comedian that comes to Osogbo and you stand before a Yoruba audience and you start saying or uttering jokes that is anti-Yoruba, don't be surprised if your audience starts booing you instead of clapping. It's the same thing. If you're going to the beach, it's normal to wear a particular type of garment. If you're going to the office, it's also customary to wear a particular type of outfit. So again, you have to put it in context. And I don't actually think that we should be too worried about the issues of controversy. And I say that for this reason. Society has a way of correcting itself. And institutions such as yourself, you are essentially the shock absorbers, in the sense that you will get a myriad of information, myriad of presentation from different perspectives. But you are custodians of the culture, you are custodians of tradition. So you know how to filter out some of these controversial issues to be able to carry your audience along. As a society, we're always going to have a tug and pull. Are we going at the right pace? Are we going too fast? Are we going too slow? We are always going to have all these conversations. I think in the end, society would have a happy medium. It's inevitable that change, the only thing that is constant is change. Society will change, but we have to change in a progressive and orderly fashion, so as not to cause chaos and
All right. To our viewers at home, if you are just joining us, what we've been talking about is fashion and culture. Fashion and culture, and how does it affect our tradition? You know, how does our way of dressing and all, how does it affect our tradition? What are the correlations between fashion and culture? And our Honorable Lubi Adeleke, the Executive Governor on Intergovernmental Affairs, has been able to, expatiate more and elaborate more on this focus, which is fashion and culture, the correlation between fashion and culture, and how fashion evolves, coupled with the evolution of culture. He's been able to elaborate more on this focus. And also, our other guest, Okwemiashimeyu, a fashion designer, CEO of Be Up Spread, has also been able to, do justice to this topic. And our model in the house, Olasoko Modupe, has also been able to, do justice to this focus. Well, fún àwọn èèyàn wa tó ń bẹ nílé tí ó gbọ́ fìtì ní èdè tí a ti ń wí láti àárọ̀, ohun tí à ń sọ ni wípé kí ni ìbáṣepọ̀ tó wà láàrin bí a ṣe ń múra, bí a ṣe ń wọṣọ, aṣọ tí à ń wọ̀ àti àṣà wa. Kí ni ìbáṣepọ̀ tó wà láàrin bí a ṣe ń wọṣọ, ohun tí à ń wọ̀ sára àti àṣà wa? Ṣé àwọn ohun tí à ń wọ̀ sára ṣó ń gbé àṣà wa lárugẹ àbí kò gbé àṣà wa lárugẹ? Ṣé tí a bá lọ síbi tí àwọn òyìnbó wà báyìí, ohun tí a bá wọ̀, ṣé àwọn náà lè sọ pé ohun tí lágbájá ẹ̀ wọ̀ ó mi kí n náà wọ̀? Ṣé àwọn ohun tí à ń wọ̀ sára ṣé ó jẹ́ ohun tẹ́ pé ó ń gbé àṣà wa, ó ń gbé orúkọ wa, ó ń gbé orúkọ wa lárugẹ? Àwọn ohun tí a ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa lónìí yẹn tí a sì rí pé Honorable wa, Honorable Olubi Adejobi láti bá a sọ̀rọ̀ nípa rẹ̀. Honorable, fún àwọn ènìyàn tó ń bẹ nílé tí wọn kò gbọ́ fìtì ní èdè tí à ń wí, a fẹ́ kẹ́ bá a sọ fún wọn ní èdè abínibí wa ní ṣókí. Ní ṣókí, kí ni ìbáṣepọ̀ tó wà láàrin ohun tí à ń wọ̀ àti àṣà wa?
Well, ẹ ṣé, bí mo ṣe sọ lóyìnbó, mo ní ẹdìẹ wà, ẹyin wà, èwo ló ṣàkọ́kọ́? Àwọn méjèèjì wọ́n jọ wà pọ̀ ni. Àṣà, fashion, wọ́n jọ wà pọ̀ ni. Ètò tá à ń ṣe níjọ́ Saturday 30 November ní Aurora, Osogbo, ó gbé àṣà, ó gbé fashion, ó gbé pọ̀.
Kí ni orúkọ ètò yìí? Ẹ bá a sọ lóyìnbó.
Osogbo Fashion and Garment Week.
Osogbo Fashion and Garment Week.
Now, nǹkan tá a ṣe nìyí, a mú about 50 designers láti Osogbo. A wo iṣẹ́ wọn. A dẹ̀ mú àwọn tí wọ́n mọ̀ nípa business yìí, wọ́n wo gbogbo iṣẹ́ wọn over a period of 6 months, oṣù mẹ́fà. So nígbà tí wọ́n wo gbogbo iṣẹ́ wọn, wọ́n wò pé láti àwọn 50, wọ́n gé wọn kù sí mẹ́rìndínlógún, 16. So mẹ́rìndínlógún yẹn náà máa wá gbé, náà máa fi iṣẹ́ wọn hàn. Now, àṣà àti iṣẹ́ fashion kò lè gbé lábẹ́ ilé, kó dúró síbẹ̀. Tó bá dúró síbẹ̀, ẹ ní róúnjẹ jẹ, ẹ ní tọ́mọ yín, ẹ ní san rent yín. Àṣà, fashion, iṣẹ́ ni. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní iṣẹ́ lóògùn iṣẹ́. Nǹkan tí governor wa tó ń ṣe constantly ni pé ẹ jẹ́ ká provide ọ̀nà àbáyọ fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa. So àwọn oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ nínú fashion kán lè gbéṣẹ́ wọn jáde káwọn èèyàn lè rí. Àwọn designers wa yìí à ń nírètí wípé by the time tí gbogbo àgbáyé bá rí iṣẹ́ wọn, bóyá aṣọ 10 náà ń ṣe lọ́dún ni, 100 ni, by after 30 November, after program yìí, agbára Ọlọ́run ìlọ́po ni. Now, nǹkan méjì wà tí ó yẹ kí n mú jáde nínú iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe. Designer bí 16 la ní, and each of them, ìkọ̀ọ̀kan nu wọ́n máa design uniform. Uniform tó ń design yìí ó lè jẹ́ uniform airline pilot or airline crew, fireman outfit, ẹni tó ṣiṣẹ́ ní hotel, ẹni tó ṣiṣẹ́ ní restaurant, ẹni tó ń ṣe courier delivery. Àmọ́ tẹ́ bá rí ẹni tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ panápaná àmọ́
nípa àwọn tó bá wọ̀.
àmọ́ kó tó máa wọ̀, ẹni tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ nínú bọ́ọ̀sì òfurufú tẹ́ bá ti rí wọn ẹ mọ̀ pé ọ̀gá air hostess lélẹ̀. Tẹ́ bá rí nurse ẹ ti mọ̀ pé nurse lélẹ̀. Nǹkan tó wá yàtọ̀ ńbẹ̀ ni wípé wọ́n fi local fabric wa, aṣọ ìbílẹ̀ wa, wọ́n fi mọ́ àwọn traditional uniforms yẹn.
Ìyẹn bí àwọn aṣọ òfì wa àbí àdìrẹ
Kampala wọ́n fi kún. Ó wá jẹ́ kó yàtọ̀. So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá jẹ́ pé ẹ ní restaurant tẹ́ dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí kọ́ mọ̀ pé restaurant yìí ó dá yàtọ̀, tẹ́ bá wá sí event wa, tẹ́ bá rí àwọn uniform ẹ wò pé mo like design yìí torí pé ó gbé traditional uniform ó wá fi culture titi wa ó fi sí, ó dẹ̀ máa fi jẹ́ kó dá yàtọ̀. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé ilé iṣẹ́ yìí aṣọ wọn báyìí ló ṣe rí. Fireman's uniform náà the same thing. So gbogbo irú nǹkan tá à ń ṣe láti fi promote iṣẹ́ wa, láti fi gbé lárugẹ. So gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń ṣe nìyẹn.
Ó dàbẹ̀ sí arábìnrin Ọpẹ́yẹmí Àṣìmí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tó ń rán aṣọ àbí tó ń rán aṣọ, kí ni àmọ̀ràn tí ẹ máa gba àwọn tí ó bá fẹ́ wọnú irú ìlànà iṣẹ́ tẹ̀ ń ṣe yìí? Kí ni àmọ̀ràn tí ẹ máa gbà wọ́n? Kí làwọn tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe? Kí làwọn tó yẹ kí wọ́n mọ̀? Kí làwọn tó yẹ kí wọ́n mọ̀? Kí làwọn tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe? Àwọn tó bá fẹ́ ṣe iṣẹ́ tẹ̀ ń ṣe, àmọ̀ràn wo lè máa gbà wọ́n?
Àmọ̀ràn tí màá gbà wọ́n ni pé wọ́n ní láti ní àfojúsùn gidi, because téèyàn bá fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan wípé nǹkan báyìí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe, tó o bá láfojúsùn nǹkan yẹn kò lè ṣeé ṣe. Tó bá láfojúsùn pé iṣẹ́ amúnidára, iṣẹ́ télọ̀ yìí mo fẹ́ ṣe, òun ni ó wù mí látọkàn, because wọn ò lè fọ́ọ̀sẹ̀ rárá. Àwọn òbí èèyàn lè sọ pé ó wù mí kí ọmọ mi kó ṣiṣẹ́ yìí.
Ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ohun tuntun tí wọ́n fúnra ẹ̀ gan fẹ́ ṣe.
Ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé ó wá láti inú ẹ pé nǹkan báyìí ló wù mí dẹ̀ ni mo fẹ́ ṣe. Ẹ mọ̀, ó máa focus lé lórí, so ó máa ní determination, ó máa ní determination lé lórí pé nǹkan báyìí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe, iṣẹ́ amúnidára ẹ̀. Torí nígbà tó bá ń kọ́ṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ó máa rí oríṣiríṣi ìdánwò, so bóyá látọ̀dọ̀ ọ̀gá àbí látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn senior àbí láti anywhere ní ibi iṣẹ́ yẹn ṣá, ó máa rí oríṣiríṣi ìdánwò ń bẹ̀. Kò dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ tó bá ti ní àfojúsùn, ohun ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì ọkàn kò ní dé bá pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan torí ó wù gidi. So ó máa ní àwọn role model lókè pé mo fẹ́ rí bí ẹni ṣe rí, mo tún fẹ́ ju tiwọn lọ, mo fẹ́ ní fashion school, mo fẹ́ go further. So those things ó máa jẹ́ kó wòye pé gbogbo nǹkan tí máa ti face máa fara mọ́.
Kódà náà ṣé a máa rí àwọn iṣẹ́ bí upstream ní ọjọ́
30th of November 2024, that's Saturday. So a máa rí àwọn iṣẹ́ mi, àwọn èyí tí a fi òfì ṣe, àdìrẹ, Kampala, so ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ aṣọ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá
tó máa gbé àṣà
wa lárugẹ, àṣà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó máa gbé lárugẹ, ẹ máa rí lọ́jọ́ yẹn.
Ó dà náà. Arábìnrin Ọlásùkò Dúpẹ́, gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn tó máa ń gbé àṣà lárugẹ nípa aṣọ tẹ̀ ń wọ̀, àbí fún ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá fẹ́ wọnú irú ìlànà iṣẹ́ tẹ̀yìn ṣe, kí ni ìmọ̀ràn tí ẹ lè gbà? Kí làwọn tó yẹ kó ṣe?
Ìmọ̀ràn tí mo lè sọ fún wọn ni pé kí wọ́n.
You can speak English.
They should have this dedication to showcasing professionalism as a model. As a model, they should have this motivation and uniqueness in showcasing beauty, showcasing fashion designers, designs and fabrics. They should have, I don't know what the word to use, but they shouldn't be shy and all of that. You should have this mindset of, oh, yes, I can do this. Just like the runway, there are different types of model, fashion model, beauty model, and a lot more. So you just have to know the kind of niche you are into and what you love doing the most. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are we going to be seeing you on the 30th of November?
Yes,
this year?
of course. I'll be live there on the 30th of November 2024.
All right, to showcase
My modeling
skills.
skills.
All right, then. All right. Now, over to you, Honorable Olubi. Now, we've talked about correlations of between fashion and culture. You know how to integrate our culture into what we wear. I mean, infusing just like what you are wearing right now. You know.
I hope you like it, by the way.
Of course, obviously, you know. You know, just like now, I mean, you've succeeded in infusing the ashofi into this beautiful garment. You know, now, what kind of advice would you give to the upcoming fashion designers out there, or people that actually want to, you know, venture into the business of fashion? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Now, I think the first thing to say in the context of what we're trying to do on Saturday is that we've only scratched the surface of the talent that exists in Osogbo, not even Osun State. And we're using this essentially as a test run. I am hoping and praying that next year we would have a lot more resources.
Is this the main edition of this program?
It is.
Oh.
It's really a test run. It's effectively a community self-help project that has developed wings. So we are hoping to have a lot more resources, a lot more people, professionals that would come forward and effectively take it over.
Are you working with other brands?
We have relied 100% on friends supporting us. Next year, we're hoping that organizations, other major stakeholders will join with us and effectively take it over, because it is essential that it becomes a culture, a festival of fashion in Osun State. So the plan next year would be to involve all of Osun State, designers from nooks and crannies. Now, I should also mention, again, we're having on the day competitions for the best dressed attendee, the best dressed couple, best dressed group of 4, and also our Nike Gallery lookalike. Now, why are we doing this? We recognize that quite apart from the 16 designers that we will be featuring formally, there are other people out there with design talent that we haven't yet captured. So we're providing this opportunity for them to also showcase their talent, and for us hopefully to be able to promote their talent, because there might be somebody at Uni Osun who is a budding designer, doesn't have a shop, doesn't have a studio, but wants to showcase their ability and their design ingenuity. So we're providing those competitions are avenues by which they can
All right.
display
that,
their
yeah.
talent,
All
and
right.
we can promote it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you want to say something? I'm pretty sure if you have all the time, you would actually say more and talk more about fashion and
Yeah.
but due to our time constraints, we won't be able to go further than this, due to our time constraints.
Of course.
Yeah, but first I must actually appreciate you, Honorable Olubi Adejobi, the essay to the governor on intergovernmental affairs for coming on our show.
Thank you for having us,
Exactly.
and it's a pleasure being here.
Exactly. And also, Okwemi Asimeyu, a fashion designer and the CEO of Be Upstretch. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
And our model, Olasoko Modupe, so thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on our show today. And also, people behind the success of this program, right from our cameraman up to our producer, Shola Obuleye, and our supervising producer, Adesoye Awodeji, and also our executive producer, Adeola Debayo. So thank you for making sure that this program is a success. We really appreciate it. And join us tomorrow for another interesting edition of AM Cafe. I still remain your host, Abayomi Adeyemi. For now, say good morning.
Macaulay was born on Monday, November 14, 1864, in Lagos, to Thomas Babington Macaulay and Abigail Crowder, the second daughter of Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowder, as the fifth of 7 children. Macaulay was born 6 days after Republican President Abraham Lincoln defeated Democrat General George B. McClellan in the United States presidential election to serve a second term in the White House. It was also the same year his maternal grandfather, Samuel Ajayi Crowder, became the first African bishop of the Church of England, popularly known as the Anglican Church. Macaulay's paternal grandfather, Ojo Oriari, a native doctor, was from Oyo and a descendant of Alafin Abiodun. He and his wife, Kilangbe, were enslaved but freed by a British anti-slavery squadron and taken to Freetown, Sierra Leone, where they settled for a while before returning to Abeokuta, where they gave birth to Herbert Macaulay's father, Thomas Babington Macaulay. Secondary school on June 6, 1859. Until he was 5, Macaulay was taught at home by his mother, Abigail. In 1869, he enrolled at St. Paul's School, Breadfruit and Christ Church School, Itafaji, for his primary education. In 1877, at the age of 13, he gained admission into the CMS Grammar School, which was then at the end of Broad Street in Lagos, where his father was the principal. 2 months later, on January 17, 1878, his father died of smallpox. Herbert Macaulay left the school in 1880. and according to his school record, he was astounding in English, logic, mathematics, and Latin. In September 1881, at only 16, he was appointed a clerical assistant and indexer of Crown land grants in the Colonial Public Works Department in Lagos. Within 3 years of his appointment, he was promoted as a draughtsman and clerk of Crown land grants. Macaulay was then awarded a colonial government scholarship in 1890 for further studies in England in civil engineering and surveying, a first of its kind in those days, which exposed him to the genteel British way of life and liberal democracy. From 1890 to 1893, Herbert Macaulay was in Plymouth, England, studying not only civil engineering but architecture and surveying, including railway surveying. On December 5, 1893, Macaulay became the first Nigerian to qualify as a civil engineer and was admitted as a member of the British Institute of Civil Engineers, member of the Royal Institute of British Architects, as well as a fellow of the Royal Geographical Society. However, when his lecturer at Plymouth, Mr. G.D. Bellamy, recommended Macaulay for further training in civil engineering, the colonial government in Lagos denied him that opportunity. On his return to Lagos, the government made him a surveyor of Crown lands in Lagos. However, he soon became dissatisfied with the conditions of his employment, as he was put on the salary scale of £90 to £150 per annum, while a British civil servant junior to him in the same department earned £250 per annum. Thus, in 1898, after only 5 years in government service, Macaulay decided to go into private practice as a licensed surveyor, architect, and civil engineer. He never worked for the government again. He was only 34 years old. On his own, Macaulay struggled in the early days to find success, as the colonial authority made sure he did not get any government jobs, and only a handful of Africans were rich enough to engage and